I never thought a marriage could die while both people were still living under the same roof. Not because of cheating, not because of screaming fights, but because of one person I kept insisting was just a friend. The night everything finally fell apart, I was sitting across from my husband, Ethan, at our favorite restaurant. The candles flickered between us, and for a moment, everything seemed normal. Then my phone lit up. Ryan. Without even thinking, I smiled and picked it up. Ethan stopped talking mid-sentence. I barely noticed. I laughed at Ryan's message, typed back instantly, and continued the conversation while my husband sat quietly across from me. When I finally looked up, Ethan was staring out the window. Sorry, I said casually. What were you saying? He forced a smile. Nothing important. At the time, I believed him. Looking back, it was probably one of the most important things he ever tried to tell me. Ryan had been part of my life for years. Before Ethan. Before our wedding. Before the house, the plans, and the promises. Whenever life became difficult, Ryan was the person I called. Bad day at work? Ryan. Fight with my parents? Ryan. Feeling lonely? Ryan. He always answered. He always listened. And because nothing romantic had ever happened between us, I convinced myself there was absolutely nothing wrong with it. But Ethan saw something I refused to see. Over the years, Ryan became the first person I shared everything with. Sometimes, he even knew things about my life before my husband did. When Ethan pointed it out, I became defensive immediately. You're being ridiculous, I told him. He's my friend. That's all. Ethan nodded slowly. I know he's your friend, he replied. But sometimes it feels like I'm competing for a place in my own marriage. I rolled my eyes. The conversation ended there. Or at least, I thought it did. A few weeks later, it happened again. We were watching a movie together when Ryan called. I answered before the first ring finished. 2 hours later, Ethan had gone to bed alone. The next morning, he tried talking to me. Again. I'm not asking you to stop being friends with him, he said calmly. I'm asking you to realize what this is doing to us. I crossed my arms. There is no us problem. The hurt in his eyes lasted only a second. Then it disappeared. I should have been relieved. Instead, I should have been terrified. Because that was the day Ethan stopped fighting for our marriage. The changes came slowly. Painfully slowly. He stopped asking about my day. Stopped planning date nights. Stopped reaching for my hand while we watched television. Stopped waiting up when I came home late. At first, I enjoyed the freedom. No questions. No complaints. No arguments. But after a while, the silence became impossible to ignore. The man who once couldn't wait to talk to me suddenly had nothing left to say. The house felt colder. The laughter disappeared. Even our conversations sounded like two strangers discussing bills. Meanwhile, Ryan remained exactly the same. Always texting. Always calling. Always available. So I leaned into that friendship even more. Whenever Ethan became distant, I turned to Ryan for comfort. I didn't realize I was running toward the very thing that was pushing my husband away. Months passed. And then came the night I can never forget. I walked through the front door after dinner with friends. The house was unusually quiet. Too quiet. Then I saw Ethan sitting in the living room. Beside him was a single suitcase. My stomach dropped instantly. What are you doing? I asked. He looked up calmly. No anger. No tears. No bitterness. Just exhaustion. I'm leaving. The words hit me harder than any scream ever could. What? He stood slowly. I can't keep living like this. I felt panic rising inside me. Because of Ryan? For the first time all evening, Ethan shook his head. No. His voice was steady. This isn't about Ryan anymore. It's about the fact that every time I asked for your attention, your respect, or your partnership, you made me feel unreasonable. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. Ethan continued. I spent years trying to tell you what I needed. You kept telling me I was insecure. You kept telling me I was overreacting. You never stopped long enough to ask why I was hurting. Tears filled my eyes. Please don't do this. I'll fix it. I'll change. I promise. His expression softened, but his decision didn't. I wanted those promises years ago. The room felt like it was spinning. I grabbed his hand. For the first time in a very long time, I was truly afraid. Not afraid of losing an argument. Not afraid of being wrong. Afraid of losing the man who had loved me through everything. Ethan gently pulled his hand away. I begged for a place in your life, he said quietly. And eventually, I realized I had become a guest in my own marriage. Then he picked up the suitcase, walked to the door, and left. Just like that. No dramatic goodbye. No final argument. Only silence. The kind of silence that changes a person forever. I sat alone on the couch for hours. My phone buzzed repeatedly. Ryan. Message after message. Call after call. For the first time, I didn't answer. Because suddenly, none of those conversations mattered. The person I wanted to talk to was already gone. That's when the truth finally hit me. Ethan was never jealous of Ryan. He wasn't trying to control me. He wasn't trying to take away my friendship. He was asking for something much simpler. To be chosen. To feel valued. To know that he mattered. And while I kept defending my friendship, I ignored the damage it was causing to the relationship that should have come first. The cruelest lesson came afterward. You don't always lose someone because you stop loving them. Sometimes, you lose them because you stop making them feel loved. By the time I understood that, the man who had spent years fighting for us had already stopped fighting. And the empty chair across from me was the only reminder of what I had thrown away.